Did you know that clothes shaped the entire lives of prostitutes, respectable wives, and adulterous noble women in ancient Rome? Back then, garments were not just meant to cover the body. They were a ruthless weapon. They were used to profile, stigmatize, and even punish people. Long before modern cancel culture or social credit scores, Rome invented the perfect, zero-cost system to liquidate a person's social capital. Let's take a closer look at this dark system. A simple piece of fabric determined everything. It decided who earned respect and who was completely outcast from society. In imperial Rome, women's social classes were strictly separated by the style of clothing they wore. Women from wealthy and respectable families had a very strict rule to follow when stepping out in public. They had to wear a stola. This stola was an elegant and elaborate dress that reached all the way down to the ankles. Over it, they wore a loose, flowing cloak called a palla. So, what did these luxurious clothes actually mean in society? The stola and palla were the universal symbols of a woman who was virtuous, honorable, and deeply devoted to Roman traditions. A woman wearing this outfit on the streets of Rome held an almost untouchable status and commanded immense respect. But there was a dark side to the coin. For women at the lower echelons of society, the laws worked very differently. So, what did prostitutes wear, considering they were strictly forbidden from wearing the honorable stola of respectable women? The answer was a garment we all know very well today, the toga. When we say toga, we usually think of respected Roman men, philosophers, and senators. However, this garment, a symbol of power for men, carried a completely different meaning for women. If a woman wore a toga, it was a clear public declaration that she stood outside moral boundaries and sold her body. The toga was a visual shackle used to instantly stigmatize a woman and separate her from respectable society. What's even more striking and terrifying is that these clothing rules were used by the state as a tool for punishment. Let's say you were a powerful, wealthy, and respectable woman of the highest class, proudly wearing your stola. But one day, you were accused of adultery and found guilty in court. Roman law handed down a profoundly humiliating and instantly life-altering, cruel punishment for an adulterous noblewoman of the time. The state would forcefully strip that woman of her stola, the ultimate symbol of her respectability. Instead, she was sentenced to wear a toga on the streets, exactly like a prostitute. This meant her entire social reputation was instantly destroyed. When this former noblewoman stepped out in her toga, everyone instantly knew the exact crime she had committed. The toga became a permanent badge of shame clinging to her, a lifelong certificate of social exclusion. But if you think this was just a moral judgment about virtue, you are falling for the illusion. The toga wasn't just a badge of shame. It was a ruthless financial algorithm. Stripping a woman's stola meant stripping her legal shield. This was the ancient world's first social credit system. A woman forced into a toga was instantly marginalized from the economy. With zero leverage in court, the state effectively triggered a forced reputation bankruptcy. By enforcing this dress code, the Roman system eliminated wealthy women who threatened the status quo. Their social capital was liquidated overnight without shedding a drop of blood. It was a flawless, zero-cost mechanism of systemic control. Today, the system no longer forces people to wear togas, but the algorithm hasn't changed. When modern powers want to eliminate a threat, they strip away your social capital. Cancel culture is simply the modern fabric of the Roman toga. Fashion in Rome was never about aesthetics or morality. It was a cold arithmetic of power, designed to protect the assets of the elite and legally liquidate anyone who stepped out of line. The system only cares about control. Morality is often just the cheapest marketing campaign for a legal execution. If you want to see the real balance sheets hidden beneath history's moral illusions, subscribe. I will simply show you where to look.